What's up, people? I just got back from seeing Eternals. Um, I really have to remember to say this, but spoilers. There's for this movie. Um, yeah, and so my brother talked to him about it. Yeah, there is not much of an intro. Just jump right into it. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff to talk about. I just gonna have to try and think about all things that are gonna pop in my head. Um, well, I mean, first of all, I think I'm not sure what stood out to me the most, but I would say the world building and the lore, the way they tried to explain more of how the world was made and all that, and explain like what the Eternals are, what the Deviants are. I thought it was really deep. It was like Loki levels deep. Like I wouldn't say it was at the point where I had a hard time following, but man, honestly, when that dude was done explaining the lore, I just kind of had the think to myself, how am I gonna connect this with the lore established in Loki, or actually with Doctor Strange too, with all the multiverses and that yeah, I would say the MCU is getting more and more complicated with the lore and how the universe in it works. Um, Again, I wouldn't say it hurts my brain yet, but maybe when I think about it, it will. I mean, then there's the characters. Honestly, it's a little hard to remember some of these characters' names. There's Icarus, who's the guy who everybody's mentioned looks like Bucky. Um, you know, Somebody mentions he looks like Superman, where he flies, shoots lasers, has super strength. He just doesn't wear a cape.
No kicks.
And then, he ends up trying to betray them in the end. And we discover he's the one who killed the boss. And to be honest, I thought the way they tried to get him to stop going through with his evil plan, I felt was a little bit of a cop out. Oh, his girlfriend, crap, I can't remember her name. The one with the green suit, yeah. Ah, it's blanking in my brain. Like I can barely remember some of these characters' names, but this green suit lady that Icarus is in love with. She has her own thing with being a leader. I think she's the main character too, because she ends up being the one to save the whole world. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention the whole save the world thing. I just kind of felt like, oh, we're doing this again. Like, I thought we wouldn't be doing this for Phase 4 until like later down the line, but since Black Widow and Shang-Chi have both been much smaller movies, more character driven, but now we're back to end of the world stuff, especially since we kind of know there are more content coming. Like No Way Home is coming out next month. Hawkeye's coming in a couple weeks, so I just found it a little weird. Like, really, we're doing this again? Especially as other characters. There's Athena. She has the cool sword, and she was just kind of cool to fight. Crap, I don't remember any of the other characters. Well, there's Ajak, who was the leader until she got killed. Nope, no other character's name I can remember. There was the black guy who creates holograms and is apparently gay. There's the child character. And she ends up becoming a mortal person in the end. There's the TV star who has a guy recording him the whole time. And there's the guy who can read minds or controlled minds. Oh, and there's also that Asian guy that ended up getting killed somewhere in the middle. I know he was the guy who baked pies. Oh, he was really strong too. Yeah, I didn't find myself connected to these characters very often. Like there was somewhat there, but not much. And before I even saw this movie, I knew that apparently this is the first MCU movie to ever get a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't really trust Rotten Tomatoes anyway. But now I've seen it, I'm not sure why they would say it's that. Like, they kind of implied, oh, this was terrible. I'm just kind of like, eh. Kind of feels more like a mid tier for me, kind of like Black Widow was. Oh, and the credit scenes too. You know, Thanos' brother ended up showing up, and it's like, wait, what was that about? I'm really curious. That's probably the most curious part about this. That I'm like, oh crud. Oh, and the three of the Eternals ended up getting kidnapped by the boss. I don't. His name also escapes me. And then the last credit scene where the green suited lady's boyfriend ends up looking into that suitcase and finds a sword, and then that random voice came in. Yep, we were all immediately going, wait, who was that? Honestly, I'm still debating in my head who that was. But, I'm sure there are bajillion theories out there already on who that was. Which, by the way, can I say it's pretty... There's one thing I gotta admire about this movie, how there are no characters from any preceding Marvel movies coming back. All of these are pretty much new characters. I mean, unless you count whoever that voice was at the end. Yeah. Like, even Doctor Strange had Thor in the credits scene, and Black Panther had Bucky in its credits scene. But this is like, no, we're just introducing whole new characters. We're not bringing anybody back. So I thought that was kind of bold the way they did that. I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm realizing I'm not really saying much. I just thought this was kind of like, if I were to compare it to the other Marvel movies we've had this year, I would say Shang-Chi, it was better. But that I felt I was more invested in that one with the father-son conflict. I'm not sure if I would say this is better or worse than Black Widow. Like, it is definitely around the mid-tier with that one. I don't know, I'm not sure what else to say. This is another Marvel movie that does get me intrigued how this is gonna fit into the bigger picture. Yeah. I don't want to I want to fill the empty silence, but I think that's about it. Yeah, I don't really have much to say. Peace!